The Kirkpatrick's model for evaluation has been the gold standard for decades. It stands as an indispensable framework for trainers, facilitators, and educators across various industries. If you're just stepping into the L&D wagon, this video guide is a must-watch. Hello and welcome to the L&D Academy, where we talk about all things learning and development. My name is Irina, and today we're tackling the famous Kirkpatrick model for evaluation. Let's demystify the 4 fundamental levels of evaluation with practical explanations, examples, and tips on collecting and analyzing data. But first, what is the Kirkpatrick model? As I mentioned, this has been the standard for learning evaluation for many decades now. But don't let its simplicity fool you. It sure packs a punch. There are 4 levels at which you would evaluate any learning event. Level 1 is the reactions, which is all about first impressions. Did the learners enjoy the learning event or training? Level 2 is learning. In other words, did they actually learn something? Level 3 is behavior. This is where you step into the shoes of a detective and you look for evidence of changed behavior back at the workplace. Finally, level 4 is results. This is the grand finale. Did the training make a significant impact on the business? Let's review a very brief history of the model. Picture Donald Kirkpatrick as the Albert Einstein of the L&D world. Way back in the 1950s, he had an aha moment and devised this 4-level framework. Initially used by the US Army, it soon caught on like wildfire and has been the go-to standard for learning evaluation ever since. Yep, it's the Beatles of training evaluation models. Timeless and still rocking. You might be asking yourself, why use the Kirkpatrick model? To that, I offer you a metaphor. Imagine building a house without a blueprint. You wouldn't know where to start or what to focus on. The Kirkpatrick model is your blueprint for building a bulletproof learning program. It helps you focus on what's crucial at each stage, from learner satisfaction all the way up to business impact. And even though you might not be asking this next question, I'll answer it anyways. What is the value of learning measurement and evaluation? Measuring and evaluating training is like being a detective. You're collecting clues to solve the mystery of, is this training actually working? The Kirkpatrick model gives you the tools to turn those clues into a compelling story, full of twists and turns that ends with a satisfying conclusion. Impactful learning that benefits everyone. Evaluating learning and training helps you know what works, what doesn't, and how to allocate resources for maximum impact. Let's then kick things off by looking at Level 1, reaction. What is it? Level 1 evaluates the initial reactions learners have to your learning event, be that a training, workshop, or an online course. It's like the trailer for a blockbuster movie. It gives you a quick glimpse into what the audience thinks, but it's not the whole story. How can you collect it? The most common way is to utilize the so-called happy sheets. A simple post-course survey will do the trick, be that on a piece of paper or an online questionnaire. For the latter, you can use paid services like SurveyMonkey or the free Google Forms. Here's some example questions you can ask. How satisfied are you with the training, ranging from not at all satisfied to completely satisfied? How relevant was the content to your job, ranging from not at all relevant to completely relevant? How likely are you to recommend this session to your colleagues, from not at all likely to extremely likely? By the way, this last one is the so-called NPS, or Net Promoter Score. A lot of companies use this to measure how likely their customers are to recommend and engage with their products and services. How can we improve the session in the future? How to analyze it? There are 2 types of data you'd normally collect at this stage: quantitative and qualitative. Quantitative data looks at numerical values. For example, 9 out of 10 people would recommend the session. And qualitative data analyzes text. For example, 3 people recommend increasing the length of the session. No need for a Sherlock Holmes magnifying glass here. There are 2 simple statistical methods you can use: the mean and the mode. The mean is the average score, where you add up all the numerical values of the responses and then divide them by the number of responses. Mode is the value that occurs most often. These 2 can give you a clear snapshot of the general sentiment. And don't overlook the qualitative feedback. It's often where the real gems lie. Let's move on to Level 2, learning. What is it? At Level 2, we need to figure out what kind of learning actually took place. We want to know if they've acquired the skills, knowledge, and attitudes the learning session aimed to instill. That is, if they attended a conflict resolution webinar, do they know now how to solve conflicts? Level 2 is all about making sure that the training isn't just a flashy show, but offers substantial learning value. Think of it as ensuring your learners leave the classroom theater with a toolkit, not just a bag of popcorn. How do you collect it? There's a multitude of ways to collect learning data: quizzes, interviews, role-playing exercises, interactive e-learning modules, and so on. Here's some sample questions you can ask. Can you list the 3 main components of our new software? How would you handle a disgruntled customer based on what you learned? Which of these strategies would work best to optimize our workflow? How do you analyze it? At this stage, you need to be more methodical. You can look at the quiz questions to determine which ones were most effective and least effective, or use pre- and post-assessment comparisons to measure the learning changes and hopefully gains. Now, let's look at level 3, behavior. What is it? It's not enough to know your learners have gained new skills and knowledge. At level 3, you need to understand whether their behaviors have changed in the long term. Does it translate into real-world effectiveness? Did your educational efforts arrive at a meaningful destination? How do you collect it? Measuring behavioral change can be challenging, to say the least, but not impossible. You can think of this as being a paparazzi, where you discreetly snap photos of performance to catch learners in the act, be that positive or otherwise. The methods you can use for this are observations, performance reviews, feedback from peers and managers, collected in surveys or through interviews, and so on. Here's some sample questions you can ask. What changes have you observed in productivity and/or performance since completing the training? How successfully is the team using the new communication methods introduced in the training? How many safety incidents have you reported since the new protocol was learned? How to analyze it? To measure the behavioral change, you need to correlate performance metrics with specific training components to see what's influencing what. This is where the challenge lies. There are a lot of influencing factors affecting your performance, and you need to make a strong connection between the learning that took place and the performance that has changed. For this, you can look at both quantitative data like sales figures, customer, NPS scores, and others, and qualitative data like peer reviews or manager feedback for a more holistic picture. Finally, let's review level 4 results. What is it? There is a reason level 4 evaluation is at the top of the pyramid. At this stage, we need to evaluate the ultimate impact of the training program on organizational goals and bottom line metrics. Think of the likes of performance, revenue, and retention. It's like seeing if the training not only led the horse to water, but also made a meaningful difference in the overall health of the herd. So level 4 is where the whole journey comes together, proving that your training is not just a good to have, but a meaningful contributor to organizational success. How do you collect it? To collect data at this level, you'll need to go beyond quick snapshots and invest in a long exposure capture of key performance indicators or KPIs. This could involve an in-depth review of quarterly financial reports, customer satisfaction surveys, or other relevant data that aligns with the intended outcomes of the training. Here's some sample questions you can ask. How has the training impacted revenue? What impact did the leadership program have on employee engagement? What changes to customer satisfaction can be attributed to the training? How to analyze it? The analysis phase at level 4 is where you'll put on your detective hat. You're not merely looking for a thumbs up or thumbs down, you're piecing together the narrative of how the training has or hasn't propelled the organization forward. This involves scrutinizing the data meticulously and perhaps employing more complex statistical methods to draw substantial conclusions about the training's return on investment. And that's all you need to know about Kirkpatrick's learning evaluation model. By now, you should have a well-rounded grasp of how to apply this framework to measure the effectiveness of your learning programs. For those new to the field of learning and development, this is not just theoretical knowledge. This is your actionable blueprint. So dive in and start implementing the Kirkpatrick model in your own learning projects. We'd love to hear how it goes. Please share your experiences, challenges, or questions in the comment section below. After all, the journey of learning and development is one best travel together. If you enjoyed this video, please consider liking, sharing, and subscribing to learn more about the wonderful world of learning and development. Thank you for watching till the end, and happy evaluating!